and welcome back to the review for a preview ahead of Leeds United on Thursday evening as Aston Villa look to continue their unbeaten run at home and cut the gap on the playoff spots. As always, I'm joined by Dan Bardell for our preview.
Hello.
So first of all, we took the 3 points at Burton. How can you see this one faring out? Because last time we lost to Leeds a few weeks ago, 2-0 in what was an awful performance from our lads.
If we play like we did the other day against Burton, then I think we'll be in big trouble because Leeds are obviously a form side and a lot better, a lot more clinical than Burton. I mean, we've seen to have played that way against a few of the smaller teams at Villa Park and come away with results, but against the better size like Leeds, we won't pick up anything if we play like that. But I expect after a couple of days rest, a few changes maybe, that we will hopefully perform better than we did the other day.
Yeah, I think the performance was lacking against Burton and it looked a bit of Christmas hungover. Like, I am expecting a few changes as well, as you said. For me, it's got to be bringing in Jordan Ayew because he came on and changed the game, same as Jack Grealish did against Burton. I can see both of them potentially coming in for the likes of Albert Adoma, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if them two didn't start, although I was pretty surprised that Grealish didn't start on Boxing Day. You'd expect Ayew to come in for Adoma. I think this is going to be his last game, isn't it, before he goes off to the African nation, so I'd expect him to start. I think Codger will probably move out to the left flank, and in fairness, I don't think Codger's been at his best the last few games. I know he scored against QPR, but I didn't actually think he was at his best in that game either. So then I think you'll see Grealish playing off McCormack, with McCormack as the lone striker. But previously, I'm sure we tried that. I think it was against Cardiff, and it didn't really work. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think Bacuna will move into the middle alongside Jedinak, and Bacuna played very well on Boxing Day, but Jedinak, along with a few others, wasn't at his best at all. He went back to the kind of Di Matteo days with his performance. But I think Bacuna deserves a run in the middle of the park. I think we've looked better, whether it be a three-man midfield or a two-man midfield, with him in the middle.
As for the Leeds lineup, we can expect a similar sort of lineup to the one that they actually played when the last time they played us. Dukara played their last game with Chris Wood coming on. Hernandez didn't start, with Sacco starting, and Kemal Roof, obviously one of the key men. Ayling, obviously, right back, was keeping our players right in his back pocket. So it'd be interesting to see how that fares. But from my memory, a few weeks ago, when Grealish came on against Leeds, he changed the game for us, and we did actually more threatening.
And it's happened quite a lot of the time when Grealish is on the bench. I think he's just one of our better players, and for me, he has to start. We haven't got anyone else who plays the game like Grealish plays the game, and when he does come on, he changes it. But I think we probably need his impact from the start, especially at home when we sometimes struggle to break teams down and make things happen. For me, along with Codger, he's a must starter. I don't understand why he's been on the bench the last few. I can understand it away from home, but at home, for me, he's 100% got to start every time.
I agree. He takes the game to the opposition. It's something that we don't do enough, is taking the game to the opposition. We like to be direct, but we can't be direct if we haven't got a player that's sort of sitting in the number 10 sort of role that can take the game to the opposition. And I think he fits that bill. As you say, for Leandro Bacuna, I think he offers a lot more energy in the middle of the park, and he does a better job than what we've been seeing in recent weeks in the middle of midfield. And he needs to sort of stamp his own position because he's playing left, right and centre. He's played all over the place in the past year or so. He needs to nail down one position for me.
In fairness to him, obviously, I criticise him, you criticise him. We all had a pop at him last season after what he said. But this season, from day one, really, I think he's been one of our better players when he has started. I mean, he hasn't started as many games as he probably liked, but even when he's been at right back, I think he's been one of our better players and been good. I think he's probably, if you pick an 11 at the moment, for me, he's another one who's got to be in there somewhere. I mean, I think maybe him holding on to a place in central midfield until January when we can get a more dynamic central midfielder in, that's probably his best bet at the moment. Bruce seems to like picking Hutton at right back, and although I think Hutton has improved generally over recent weeks, I thought he was shocking again on Boxing Day. As I said on the fan cams, his pass completion must have been about 15%. We break down too much going forward with Hutton in the side. I understand he's got passion, he's got energy, he's got heart, but every time we conjure a good move together and we get down the right-hand side with Alan Hutton at the ball at his feet, the move's going to break down. So for me, long-term, Bacuna's got to be playing at right back instead of him.
We know how tough a fixture this is going to be. Leeds are in inspired form. They're actually 7 points above us in the league. They sit in 5th place. Confident win 4-1 against Preston North End on Boxing Day. They played the direct game. Preston did against Leeds, and it's backfired. So for us who play a direct game, we need to do something to combat that. And for me, that middle of the park area is a real worry.
Arguably, we've probably got on paper a better squad, a better first 11 than Leeds, but what they are that we aren't is that they're more clinical. We're not clinical enough at the moment. We're not scoring enough goals, and Leeds are pointing the way. I mean, going to Preston and winning 4-1, I know Preston ended up with 10 men, but I think they were already 3-1 up before Beckford came on and got sent off. Leeds know where the goal is. I mean, obviously, when we played them last time, Kemar Roof hadn't ever scored for Leeds, and then obviously, of course, he gets his first goal against Villa, but his confidence has shot up since that game as well. I mean, he scored again against Preston, so they're going to be really dangerous. They've got a couple of ways of playing as well, and you've got to give Gary Monk a lot of credit, really, because he's managing a team that's been all over the place the last few years. They've got an absolute nutcase owner, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise you if we beat them and Monk got the sack the way that owner is, but he's probably the manager of the season in the Championship so far for me.
So overall, how can you see it fair out? For me, it's crying out a draw, and I'd happily take a point right now. In our circumstance, I'd take a point.
I don't know whether I'd take a point because we need wins. I mean, you see, we're winning most of our games, but that gap in the top 6, it never seems to come down. We always seem to be around 6 points off the playoffs, and that's what we are again after Sheffield Wednesday beat Newcastle. We need to win. I mean, it's not about revenge or anything like that because they beat us. We simply need to win every game that we play. I mean, even a draw, if the team's above us, then win. Okay, the gap with Leeds will stay the same, but the gap with someone like Sheffield Wednesday, it's going to get bigger. I mean, it's going to be really tough. I think we were all very, very confident a few weeks ago when we were on that unbeaten run before Leeds that we would get the top 6, and I still am reasonably confident that we will. But the teams that are in there at the moment, they're not really dropping points. I mean, Newcastle have dropped a few points recently, but they're top 2. They're well away from us. Same with Brighton. We're not catching them, no way. So it's going to be really difficult to get in that top 6 because the teams around us and above us, they're not really dropping points, and that gap isn't getting any less.
But if we play like we did against Burton, we've got no chance. But if we play like we did against Brighton, for example, we've got every chance of winning. So it's just what team turns up and what intensity we decide to play at. Because I was sat fairly close to Bruce against Burton, and you could hear him saying push forward. He wanted high pressure, but it just didn't seem to be happening. So we're interested to see if we actually do that against Leeds. Because I think with high pressure, if we pest them a bit, I think there's every chance for victory. Can I get a prediction from you for the game?
No.
No.
No. I don't fancy doing one. You can do one, though.
I'm going to predict 1-1. I'd like to see us win, but I can't see past the draw, in honesty.
I don't know. It's really, really... Obviously, I'm never going to sit here and predict Villa to lose, but if we play like we did the other day, we will lose.
We're going to be doing our fan cams as usual. Fan cams still are online now to watch for the Burton game as well as a matchday experience. So if you want to come and speak to us after the Leeds game, make sure you do that outside the Holt End on the Trinity roadside. Come and find us and speak to us. We'll find the beacon in light. You'll see us standing there. Come and speak to us, your views on the Leeds game. If you enjoyed this preview, please drop us a like below and comment your prediction, or maybe not after recent predictions, and subscribe with post notifications on.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.